Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, today I want to talk about how you should be more like the younger version of you. And being like the younger version of you can help you in your business or whatever you're looking to do right now. You know, sometimes as adults, we feel that at this part of our lives, we're the cleverest version of ourselves. That, back when we were small, we hadn't got a clue, we kept falling over, we kept making mistakes, and right now we are the best version of ourselves. But is that really true? When you think back to the smallest version of you, the version of you who learned how to crawl, then walk, the version of you who learned to eat, the version of you who learned how to talk, how to go to the toilet on your own, all the different things you did within the first few years of your life as a toddler. How amazing is that? And sometimes we forget that, back then, we had to go through a lot of trials, tribulations. We were falling over all the time. We were bumping our head. We were grazing our knees. But we got up and we went back to it again. If we look at something like, for example, maybe riding a bike. Now, if you can't ride a bike, I'm sorry, but we're just going to use this example. How amazing is it that you can ride a bike? The fact that you can actually get on a bike, you can balance yourself perfectly, that you're just, perpendicular with the ground. You're not falling to the left. You're not falling to the right. You're keeping yourself up straight. Again, think about you're balancing yourself on a piece of rubber that is probably maybe an inch or maybe an inch and a half wide. It's a tiny bit of rubber that you are balancing yourself on. Now, add into that the motion of pumping your legs up and down, trying to keep an eye, that you don't crash into something when you're riding your bike. I'm sure you can see that when you actually break it down and think about all those different things that you had to put together to actually learn to ride a bike, I'm sure you can appreciate how amazing you were. Now, I'm sure when you think about going back to ride that bike, I'm sure you probably have all those memories of falling off the bike. Maybe only getting maybe a foot ahead and then falling over to the left or falling over to the right. Or maybe you get on a little bit further, you fell off and you skinned your knees. You might have got off the bike and you might have kicked the bike and you might have said, that's it, I am never going back on that bike again. I'm never going to be able to ride this bike. And yet, the next day, you went back again and you gave it another go. And you gave it another go. And you gave it another go. Until eventually you rode a bike. And when you found that when you rode a bike, people that you thought had maybe a superpower beforehand, there was nothing special about them. You found that you could do the exact same things as they could do. There was nothing special about them at all. You were one of those special few right now who could ride a bike. Now I want you to think about yourself as an adult. How many times have you tried to do something right now and given up? Given up because maybe there's no results. Given up maybe because there's a small result. Given up maybe when you have failed again and again and again. How many times do you try something before you give up? Now, I remember reading one time, and I've talked about this many times in this podcast, is that the majority of people will never try anything more than twice before they give up. Now, can you imagine going back in time to the baby version, the toddler version of you, and saying to that person, you've only got 2 goes to get this right. You've only got 2 goes to get your crawling right. You've only got 2 goes to let go of that sofa and try and walk across the front room. You've only got 2 goes to get your potty training right. Can you imagine saying that to the younger version of you? And can you imagine the results you would have got if you only tried those things twice? Right now, you would probably be sitting in the corner, sitting in a huge diaper, unable to talk, and someone would be feeding you right now. Thankfully, you didn't try only 2 times. You tried again and again and again and again and again until you eventually got it. So what I would say to you is that if maybe you're going through some difficulty right now, if there's something that you want to do, but you keep saying to yourself, well, I've tried that before. I can't do it. It's too hard. I'm not making any progress. I'm just failing again and again and again. I want you to think about the baby, the toddler version of you. I want you to think about the version of you who rode that bicycle. All the effort you put in, and eventually knowing that you will get there if you keep going back again and again and again. So maybe right now, if you just aren't getting anywhere, I would recommend you appreciate the younger version of you who was probably a lot cleverer than you are right now, who was a lot more stubborn, who really wanted to achieve that thing. When you think about a toddler letting go of the sofa, just heading off for the first step, it's not that like they're thinking to themselves, oh, it would be great if I could walk across the room. Oh, it would be great if I could just take maybe one step. They're not thinking there. They are thinking beyond that. They're thinking to themselves, I am going to walk across the room. I'm going to walk over to my mother or my father, or I'm going to walk over to this chair over here. I am going to walk over there. And they are committed to that. And because they're committed to it, it doesn't matter how many times they fall over. They are going to get there because that is the direction they want to go in. So again, I'd say that to you. The decisions you're making right now, how committed are you? Is it a kind of a wishy-washy thing? Or do you really want to do the thing that you'd like to do? Now, if you really want to do the thing that you'd like to do, don't you think that it deserves you being more stubborn, sticking with it longer until you actually achieve it? Give that some thought today. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.